Hello, I am Shapcott. Today we're going to talk about swing plane. We're going to talk about what it is, why it matters, and some of the things that you can do to correct your own swing plane if it's off. I hope this video is helpful. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We update it weekly with tips to help you improve your game. Thank you. Okay, let's take on the issue of swing plane. Swing plane is really important because if your swing is on plane, it means that you're going to strike the ball at the right place, both on the club face and in relation to the ground. And it means that you give yourself the best chance of rotating the club face square. So it's really important for strike and direction. Now, quite simply, what we mean by the swing plane is the angle of the club as it swings around the body. Okay, now in very simplistic terms, if the swing plane is steep, it means that the shaft is coming down too vertically. If it is too flat, it means that it's coming down too horizontally. And that swing plane is in relation to the angle of the shaft when you set up to the ball. So of course there's no one swing plane for everyone. It's going to depend from person to person based on height, length of legs, body, arms, all of that stuff. But what's important is that it's the angle in relation to the shaft of the club. And if it's steep, it means that the club is coming down too vertically relative to where you started. And if it's too shallow, then it's coming down too horizontally relative to where you started. Okay, so how do you know whether your swing is too steep? Now, there are lots and lots of telltale signs. If you are swinging too steeply, what tends to happen is, one, you're going to tend to hit the ground, so you're going to take a lot of really big divots. Two, if you're swinging down very steeply, then the arms tend to reverse rotate and the club face blocks open and you tend to get a slice. If you swing down steeply, then you're also going to tend to get a toe strike, particularly with your driver. If you have a very steep swing, then you're going to get all kinds of scuff marks on the top of your driver right here. And that's because with a steep swing, what it means is that that top of the head gets to the ball before the face, and you're going to just catch it right off of the top half of your club. So those are the characteristics of a steep swing. No surprise, the characteristics of a shallow swing are the opposite. If you have a very shallow and a round swing, then the arms are going to tend to over-rotate and close the club face. So you may hook the ball quite a lot. So that's a characteristic of a shallow swing. Another characteristic is that because your swing is too shallow, you might hit some top shots or thin shots. Or if it's a very shallow swing, the club may just kind of ground out before the ball and hit some drop kicks. And the strike is going to tend to be out of the heel of the club if you have a shallow swing, because as you've swung around in this direction, the club is coming flat and it's going to tend to swing out further as you swing through. So those are the characteristics of things to look out for to identify whether you have a steep swing or a shallow swing. Okay, so what affects the swing plane? One of the most important aspects of your swing is your posture. Not only does it provide you a nice solid base, but a good posture means that you increase your chances of swinging on plane. Now, let me give you an example. If someone sets up and the posture is too upright with the body, then the swing is going to tend to be around and it's going to be very shallow. Okay, if the posture is too far over and you turn around your spine, then the plane is going to be very steep. So getting the right posture is not only going to determine your swing plane, but understanding that means that you can use your posture to adjust your swing plane. So if you have a steep swing plane, a good thing to do is to just maybe experiment with standing a little bit taller, and that should help you to round out your plane a little bit more. And conversely, if you have a shallow swing and you're topping it and you're hooking it and you're thinning it, then you might find that just by getting a little bit more tilted over at the hips means that as the hands and arms swing around the plane, you just steepen it out a little bit and you can reduce some of those characteristics. Now, most recreational golfers slice the ball. So most golfers tend to get a steep downswing. Okay, and there's a number of reasons for that. Sometimes it can be that you just start the swing with the shoulders instead of the lower body. But regardless of why you have a steeper swing, then a great drill to try and flatten it out is to just make some practice swings. Start out by keeping the club at kind of knee height and make some practice swings where you don't let the club get any lower than knee height. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm shallowing out my swing plane and my arms are starting to rotate. Okay, once you get the feel of that, then just gradually start bending from your hips again so that you're setting up to the ball, and try and get that same feeling with the shot. So taking swings with the club head, foot, 2 feet, 3 feet off the ground is a great way of shallowing out your downswing and getting rid of those toe shots and slices. Now, a drill for steepening your swing, that's a little bit trickier, but one of the best things that you can do is to just make practice swings off of a downhill lie. So if the ball is below your feet, then you're probably going to find that you bend a little bit more from the hips to begin with. And the hands and arms are going to tend to work up and down a little bit more, which is going to really help you steepen out that downswing. So as you can tell, the swing plane is more than just a fancy word that you're reading in golf magazines. It has very practical implications for your golf. So it is going to affect the strike that you have on the ball. It's going to affect whether you take too much ground or too little. It's going to affect where it hits on the club face. Is it going to hit on the toe or the heel? It's going to affect how much rotation your forearms have in your swing, which means that it's going to affect your ball curving left and right. And with your driver, if you're hitting those pop-up shots, then it's going to affect that too. So understanding what the swing plane is, what it causes and how you can correct it is really, really important for your golf game. So I hope that this video gives you some food for thought, introduces the concept of swing plane, and gives you something to experiment with in your game. Okay, thank you very much for listening to this video. I hope you found it helpful. Please subscribe to our channel and check out some of our other videos.